What's good, job? If you tapped in, you already know who I am. If not, my name is Caleb Jarrell. Leave them where they are. As you start to become a better individual, you put the work in, you start to see results in life, and you start to accomplish certain things. The hardest thing that you may go through in the midst of all that is dealing with survivor's remorse. That guilt of becoming better, not necessarily better than them, but a better version of yourself than you was. Making a decision that, you know what, I'm done making the same bad decisions, having the same bad habits, putting up with trauma, putting up with toxicity, inconsistency, and you start to do the opposite. You make better habits, you make better decisions. You pay attention to the company that you keep yourself around and the environments that you allow yourself to go to. You start to feel this guilt of feeling like you're becoming somebody that's way too different than the people that you're used to being around. Your normal circle, your family members. And sometimes they'll even start to treat you different. But it's because they can't relate to who you are anymore, and you can't relate to who they are sometimes. So it's like you'll go through these situations and this time or this guilt, knowing that you're becoming a better person and a different version of yourself, but trying to navigate how to deal with the same people, deal with your loved ones, deal with your friends. And it's like this barrier or this distance becomes, and it seems like the more that you grow, the more that it may develop. And that's just a part of life. When you start to become a better individual, you start to remove certain things from your life. And sometimes those are people. And sometimes it's not necessarily completely removing them, but there becomes a distance. So it's like this tug of war in your mind where it's like, dang, I remember we used to do this. I remember we used to kick it all the time. That's why people say, you switched up, you changed. And it's not necessarily you as an individual, but it's just your habits changed. Your decisions change, your mindset changed, your perspectives change. So you have to sometimes leave people where they are because they're not willing to change, because they're not willing to be better. You can still love them, but sometimes you have to learn how to love them from a distance because sometimes those mindsets and those habits can be a detriment to your success, a detriment to you becoming a better version of yourself, a detriment to you finding your purpose and sticking to your path. So sometimes, like I said, you have to leave them where they are. But in the midst of finding that guilt, in the midst of going through that guilt, feeling like you have the obligation or the responsibility to change the habits and decisions that they make, don't let that weigh over you. Don't let that be a burden to you because the same way that you woke up one day and was like, you know what? I'm done being fat. I'm done being broke. I'm done being out of shape. I'm done with the bad habits. I'm changing my mindset. I'm changing my mentality. I'm starting to apply and put the work in to become a better individual so that I can be better for myself and the people around me. The same way that you made that decision is the same choice that they have to make every day. The same opportunity that they have to make when they wake up every day. So stop letting that guilt weigh over you. You know, it's something that I've had to learn how to deal with is understanding who I am and understanding that, I'm a man about principles, boundaries, structure, order. And sometimes people just don't align with that anymore. People that I used to kick it with just don't align with that anymore. Sometimes I recognize things that I've been doing, they've been doing the same thing for the same amount of time. So at a point it becomes recognizing that it's a choice. It's a choice to be in the same situation. It's the choice to make the same decisions. It's the choice to put up with the same things. So you can't let that continue to be a detriment to your mental. And I know we want to save everybody, but it's not our job to save everybody. Focus on the people that want to deal with you. Focus on the people that are attracted to your energy, attracted to your mindset, your new version of yourself. I got a clothing brand that I was working on when I was younger. I was like 17, 18, and the name of it was Kill the Old You. And I didn't understand completely what that meant at the time, but I knew it stuck with me. I knew it had like a deeper meaning to me. And really, it's about what I'm about. I'm about killing the old version of myself. I'm about killing old mindsets. I'm about killing and breaking generational curses. So, what are you about? You feel me? When you about something like that, you got to recognize that some people want to stay the same. Some people don't want to change. I'm from a small city, Monticello, Arkansas, and um, I have like real estate clients and real estate colleagues, different things like that. And one thing that we always talk about is how the city could be better. How the city could be growing, areas that they can improve, and things that they can do to develop. And one of my brokers, he says, or he's mentioned how it's ran by a lot of older people that don't want change. They want things to stay the same. So it's like when you in environments like that, that's why I moved. That's a big reason of why I moved. When you in environments like that, it's hard to grow and develop as a person. It's hard to have that mindset when your reality isn't about that. Your reality doesn't stand for that. So what did I do? I had to figure out, okay, boom, what's somewhere around me where the environment is about growing, the environment is about developing, not only for my personal development but business, with clients, health, all of that type of stuff. So I had to do what I had to do. I had to work at Domino's full time while being in barber school to get my license. I had to do that for almost a year and a half. I had to get out of barber school and go straight to Domino's and not get off till about 1 a.m. almost every day, 5, 6 days out the week. But guess what? In my mindset was, I know where I'm going. I know where I'm trying to get to. I know what I'm focused on. I know where I need to be at. So that made it easier to do the things that I had to do to get to where I wanted to be at. Boom, I'm making my check every 2 weeks. I'm stacking it. I'm not spending it. I'm not splurging it. Not saying I didn't have my fun here and there. I reward myself. Reward yourself when you start doing good. When you start to hit your goals. Buy you some nice shoes. Buy you some nice clothes every now and then. But all of your expenses or all of your money or income doesn't have to or doesn't need to go to all of that. Because you have to understand responsibilities come first. It's your responsibility to change your mindset. The same way it's your responsibility to show up for work. Same way as your responsibility to text clients back, to put clients in your schedule. Same way it's your responsibility to take care of your woman, your lady, your kids, your family. So you're responsible for where you are in life. You're responsible for where you see yourself getting and being at. And you're responsible for going after it and accomplishing it. And I promise you, as long as you keep God first and you keep your head down and you keep grinding, you'll get there. But you have to understand that it takes time and it takes you sometimes pulling yourself away from certain people and environments. So sometimes you got to recognize, okay, what do I have to do to get to where I want to be at? And you have to attack it. It's 2025, almost 2026. You got to be done with being timid. You got to be done with having so much fear and letting that hold you back and not doing the things that you want to do in life. Not doing the things that you're supposed to do in life. And the main thing is, we want to point fingers at everybody else sometimes and say and blame them for where we are in life when the main person is holding you back is you. You choose to put up with certain people. You choose to have a certain mindset. You choose to have bad habits. And I know it's gonna be a barrier or this disconnect when you try to pull away. That's because you got some strongholds on you. That's because you got some habits on you. It's because you got bad energy around you sometimes. So sometimes you literally have to pull yourself away from all of that and just sit with yourself. Ask yourself, what do I need to do to get to where I need to be in life? And at the end of the day, once you recognize it, You know where the source is at. You know where the source comes from. Now you have to do the things and the tasks to break those things or to add those things to your life to get to where you need to be at. So stop letting that guilt, that fear, that timidness, everything that's holding you back, stop letting it weigh on you and make a decision. And once you make that decision, then you got to stick to it until you accomplish it, until you get to where you want to be at, until you start to inspire the people that you know you're going to inspire, until you start to be that positive example for the people around you. And then once you get there, once you make it to that until spot, you maintain it. That's the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe. On the way to 1,000 subs.